Welcome to Discovery Education Refresher. Today we want to go over how to get on the Discovery Education website, as well as how to start a benchmark assessment, how to find the data reports that are useful to you and your students, and locate the instructional resources information. In order to get to this screen, you need to go to discoveryeducation.com and use the username and password provided to you through administration. Once you successfully log in, you will go up to My DE Services, click on Assessment, and it will show you this screen. You can choose from Benchmarks, Progress Zone, RTI, Indicator, and Instructional Resources. Now let's look at benchmarks. In order to begin a benchmark assessment, you would need to click on Start a Benchmark Assessment. Once you do so, it brings up your schedule of classes, and you need to click on the radio dial of the class that you wish to test at that time. Then hit Proceed to Next Step. Then you'll select which test you're wanting to do at that time. And then you would hit Start Assessment. If you're wanting to simply generate an access code for your students to use at a later time, you can hit Generate Access Code. Now, the codes are good for a total of 16 hours. Those are consecutive hours. After that time frame, students will need to get a different access code from you in order to begin or complete a test at that time. Now, let's go back to Assessment and back to Benchmarks. In order to see specific reports that contain information from the tests that your students have taken, you need to go to View Benchmark Reports. Here you will see a breakdown of 7 reports that are useful in showing your students where they are struggling and where they are being successful on these discovery assessments. The drill down report, the interactive item summary, the PDF individual student, comparative growth, PDF teacher, detail export, and item analysis are all information that you will have available to you. So let's start with the drill down report. It already pre-fills the school. You pick the subject and whether you want it by skill or by subject. And hit View Report. And clearly there's nothing there. Okay, now you see that we've selected English 2 and by skill. The report comes up and it shows the Common Core English 2 high school for full year. Okay, it breaks down literature, information, writing, and language because those are the different benchmarks that the students are tested on. You can see in the levels 4 through 1 here, and then it indicates how those classes have done. So for test 1, you can click on the high school hyperlink and it will take you to a more itemized version. It breaks it into individual classes for both the first test and the second test. Now, if you wanted to take and get more detailed information, you click on the hyperlink for each class and it gives you the students specifically where their levels are for the different benchmarks that are being tested. Now, you can go back to Drill Down Report to start another specific report for a different class or a different subject. As you can see, you can get to all of them here, and you can even run it by subject. So we'll do that one. And here you have it Again, by subject, this shows the percentage correct, your average scale score, and the percentage of the students that received the different levels, and then your totals. Again, for further detailed information, you can click on that and it breaks it out by your classes. You can click again and it brings it out per student. And it sorts it based on levels. So if we go back to benchmark reports, you then have your interactive item summary. This allows you to sort through your classes, the different tests, and then the skill sets, and then you hit view report, and based on the criteria you wanted to see, you will get that information. Now I'm going to go to the PDF individual student report because this is the one that we have found to be the most useful. You can either select it by class or you can go down and select it by student. Once you do that and hit view report, it brings up an itemized report for the students to have. It provides them with how they did on the first test, the second test, as well as the colors they should be by proficiency for subject and skill level. It compares their growth to their school, as their own individual student, and then how they've done within the McKeel system. Then as you go down, you see the different standards that were tested for each assessment. You can see which ones in literature, information, writing, and language that they did well on and those that they struggled with. Then at the bottom, you see how many questions the student answered correctly, which ones were incorrect, and those that the students did not answer at all. We'll hit the back button to take us back, and then again, we'll hit benchmark reports. Another report that is useful that some teachers enjoy is the comparative growth. And it shows them where they did for test 1 and 2, and then it compares test 1 and 3. As you can see, it shows the test 2 scores versus the test 1 scores, and then it provides you with the information to see where your students are testing for those testing periods. Shows you a distribution of change, and then it ranks your students based on the change from one test to the next. This does give you the option to export into an Excel file as well. The PDF teacher report is another one that can be used to see where your students are being successful and where they are showing weakness with their skills. Here you see Test A with 26 students. This is one particular class, and it bases where their literature, information, writing, and language levels are. It breaks it down into certain percentages, and then it provides you with a student skill report for that particular class period to see exactly what level that student falls within. Then it shows you our state bench codes as well as Common Core information available. It gives you the information on their test, the question number that deals with particular benchmarks. That's all found within this. Here's an answers report. And then it gives the item summary with the Common Core information. So we know where in our classrooms our students need additional help. Now, if we go back to the home page, At this time, we're not looking at the progress zone or the RTI, as those will be explained in further detail at a later date. The instructional resources that we want to make sure everybody understands is that there, if you scroll to the bottom, you have the periodic table, and it pulls that up where you can print that for your students. The high school math formula sheet, the middle school formula sheet, and then you have downloadable extended response items that you can use. You can also click View Resources and go to your grade level, and it gives you the next generation standards for this year. It will give you Common Core. It will give you college readiness assessments, science standards on the national level, additional resources for you to help those struggling students especially. In order to get back to your benchmark, you can go back up to the top to assessment, and it brings you right back to this. You can go in and manage your classes through the benchmarks, and then get your instructional resources at the bottom. Next, for those that are looking for the proficiency levels, you need to go to the Need Help under Benchmark, and then type in Proficiency Levels, and then go to Proficiency Levels by Subject. It'll take you to this page, and you need to click this particular link, and it will bring up all of the proficiency levels for every subject that we test for Discovery. It provides you, it shows you spring semester, fall semester, test A. If you keep scrolling, you will get to test B. Starts in here. And then if you continue to scroll, you will see test C. And test C does not have scale score results in it at this time because Discovery does not set the scale score until testing begins in the testing window. Once they begin testing, then the scores will be set. Every test, the scale score increases roughly 75 to 100 points based on previous testing years and information we have through Discovery. At this point, this is the end of our refresher session. If you have any questions or need any one-on-one help, please be sure to let myself, Melissa Robertson, or Rebecca Timmons know, and we will do what we can to help you or find the answers to questions that you have if we don't already know. Thanks a lot.